Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff Immelt. I'm the retired chairman and CEO of GE, a venture partner at NEA. And I've been working with Tuya for 2 years, both as an advisor, a member of their US board, and a strategic advisor. And I'm really excited about what they're doing. And look forward to having a great panel discussion this morning on the status of the IoT market and how it looks around the world. With me, I have Chaby Orfali, the CEO of Mercury Innovations. I've got J Mcveigh, the co-founder of Status in the UK. I've got Saurabh Goel, the president of Havells in India, great company. And Mr. Lee, who is the vice president of Smart and Connected Devices at Lenovo. So great panel discussion. We're gonna do kind of a roundtable. So I'm gonna engage with each one of them on a separate question, but we hope to keep it really informative and moving really quickly and with lots of good, interesting discussion. So I'm going to start really with Chaby and Mercury. And Chaby, I'll ask you a question, but before you answer, I'd also like you to introduce yourself and your company to the people online. But you know, you've been a leader, certainly in the IoT business and things like that. So I'd like to kind of get your sense of what you're seeing in the industry, what kind of trends and changes, and where you think we are in the entire smart home progress. So Chaby, turn to you.
Thank you. Good morning. So my name is Chaby Orfali. I'm CEO and co-founder of Mercury Innovations. We're based in New York. We've been in business since 2003, focusing on consumer electronics early on. And our company has evolved over time as technology has evolved. And we entered the smart home category approximately 3 years ago. We were one of the early partners with Tuya in the US. It's been a very fruitful partnership, and it continues to grow. So I'll give you a little bit of background as to where we see the smart home industry. We're at a point where we still think it's early. When we originally looked at the market a couple of years ago, we saw a market that was difficult to understand from a consumer perspective. It was expensive for a customer to even make the initial purchase to start. There was a bunch of different brands that required all these different apps. And it just really was a very fragmented and complicated industry. So first thing is, as a company, we look at what does the consumer want? And then once we can put ourselves in the consumer's shoes, we say, okay, now we put ourselves in the shoes of our retailers and our partners. How do we bring a product to market? Obviously, it's looking at, what the industry is doing, what it's missing, what we could bring to the table that other people are not doing. We look for, how to make life easier. And ultimately, when we decided to partner up with Tuya, we took our approach as a company, which we've used from day one, which was, approach the market with just aggressiveness to bring a complete assortment of products to the market that can cater to everybody. We want to cater to the everyday consumer, not just the upscale, higher end consumer that was able to afford that 3 bulbs and a hub for $200. We want to be able to, sell products to everybody. And that's really how I see this industry is going to continue to grow with penetration. As a consumer walking into a store, very confusing. You see all these different brands, you see all these different price points, and it's actually quite intimidating. So we decided at that point, what could we do to make things easier? And we ultimately, like I said, partnered with Tuya. We took the approach of, okay, you don't need a hub. It's Wi-Fi based, which specifically in the US, pretty much everybody has Wi-Fi. It requires a smartphone, which, as we know, pretty much everybody has one. And giving the customer the ability to buy one product, one bulb or one plug, and get started. And ultimately, that's really been the secret sauce. And as the technology has evolved, and as the voice-enabled devices has grown, that's also fueled the growth for this category. So, there's a tremendous amount of penetration with the Alexa devices and the Google Homes devices that have helped. And I think that it's only going to continue to help. So I believe from a smart home perspective, I believe it's early. I believe there's a lot of opportunity, but at the end of the day, you still have to approach the market, aggressively to the point where, you have to be relentless, and in our perspective, the way we look at business is, we're never satisfied. We're always hungry. We're always looking at, how we can make things better, how we can bring things, to people that are more affordable. And especially now, coming out of COVID, with what we've seen with everybody being out of jobs. I mean, the unemployment, in the United States has gone from 3.5% to 15%. People don't have so much expendable income. People cannot go and spend that much money in the stores. So we still have to have the technology to be approachable. And I think that we've done that. And I think it's only going to continue to grow.
Great. Thanks for that. Nicholas, let me ask you to kind of give us what your sense of the lighting industry and how IoT is, fitting into the lighting industry and where you see it going. And before you do that, it would also be great for you to introduce all of us to Status and to yourself. So thanks, Nicholas, and take it away.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you for inviting me. Status was formed in 1990 by myself and my father, predominantly selling light bulbs and electrical accessories. It's only in the last since January this year that we've entered the smart market. We've been looking for a partner for over 12 months so we could be comfortable with promoting our products with. And we found Tuya, and since then we're developing a few ranges, not just lighting, but we're moving forward onto other product ranges. The lighting market really, with Jeff being GE, for hundreds of years, nothing's happened in the lighting market until the last 15 years. And then the change from incandescent lamps to halogen lamps to low energy lamps to LED lamps, and now to the smart lamps, which is obviously going to be a big and absolutely huge part of the future. So the technology for us is relatively new. I have to say I'm really looking forward to the next few years to see where we can take the volume, because we want to be volume led with the lamps, and then we will be introducing, like I say, new items going forward.
Great. Saurabh, you're in one of the world's biggest consumer markets in India, and it's got a lot of different segments, and from tech savvy to small villages and stuff like that. It would be great to get your perspective on where the whole IoT and smart devices market is in India. And before you do that, it would be really fantastic to learn more about both yourself and Havells as a company.
Right, thank you, and namaste to all of you. It's a very time neutral kind of a greeting from India, because you're all of different times, and it's an absolute honor to be on this panel, and especially talking to you, Jeff, who's such a great friend of India from your stint at GE. My name is Saurabh, and I head one of the building businesses of a company called Havells India Limited, which is almost a $1.5 billion kind of a conglomerate with interests in consumer durables, electricals, industrial electricals, and also lately in lighting. What we really, kind of look at is that we have, just like GE, Jeff, and I'm using that analogy a lot, because we have about 20 different verticals. And what we say is that if we are not number 1, 2, or 3 in the 5 years of our launch in any of the verticals, we exit that. And about 15 out of the 20 verticals, we kind of maintain that kind of a standing. So, and that has been a credo, and that is the reason we've been kind of spreading across. We're present in about 20 different countries and a proud manufacturer base out of India. We have about 14 factories spread across the length and breadth of India. And so coming to the smart journey of India, I would say it's almost about a $3 billion market, still nascent from the figures that we hear from some of the Western and the Chinese worlds. But what's more important is that this is growing. This is growing at a CAGR of close to about 30% before the epidemic, the pandemic hit us. And I'm very sure it's going to, kind of further increase the pace of adoption of digital in the world. And Jeff, as you mentioned, that India is a length and breadth and different segments, and different. There been a theory about the pyramid, and they have different segments in India. There is a huge market, no wonder. But for that, I see a few challenges which kind of impede us from realizing those challenges. And one of the biggest ones has been that smart in India has somehow, wrongly so, has been positioned in the luxury segment, and it's not really the convenience segment that we would like. And the youngsters in the cities of Pune and Hyderabad and Ahmedabad, which are our IT hubs, and Bangalore, where would like to use this as a convenience. So first of all, we need to bring smart into the convenience category and take it away from the luxury category that it's been positioned. The second challenge I would say to be that, since it's very different segments, and selling to a luxury segment is different from selling to a, let's say, a tier 2 or a tier 3 city kind of a segment, we have to crack the right GTM. We need to have the right people training, both in terms of sales and service, so that they can then be the ambassadors of smart to take it to people. Because advertising and all can bring the people to the stores, but then they will have to be explained the nuances of that product in order to realize that. That probably, given the fact that government is supporting so much on the energy efficient means, and we have a very young and dynamic population. So I have a strong feeling that we are almost at a cusp of explosion, just like Y2K really made IT as India stand out in the field of IT. Probably this pandemic would make India move into a very, very digitally strong kind of area.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Mr. Lees from Lenovo, it would be great to get your perspective on how you make a legacy company like Lenovo really more intelligent, and how do you look across the various businesses there to put in platforms that can really drive connected and smart devices. Before you do that, everybody knows Lenovo, but it'd be great to get your perspective on the company itself and where you stand and kind of that intelligence journey.
Hey everyone, this is Yao Li. I work for Lenovo. Lenovo is a company. We are reaching $50 billion revenue, I think, in the past year. Very successful movement. But I joined Lenovo around 2000. It's about my 20-year service in Lenovo. I'm currently vice president of the corporate and the general manager of the smart and connected device business. So in terms of how we embrace this digital transformation or intelligent transformation. So 2 years ago, Lenovo regrouped our kind of the business from originally more device driven, like we have a digital center, we have a mobile phone, we have a Lenovo PC, we have ThinkPad, we have a tablet, we have a service team, solution team. We realize the new trend is intelligence. So we make our strategies very clear. We call Lenovo will be the intelligence enabler, and we will use our power intelligence to support all our partners. So we make our strategy is we call it three smart. One is a smart infrastructure. We support all the company on the data center, on server, on software to make company intelligence. The second one is we call the smart IoT, is make all our internet terminal device, including our original very strong on phone, mobile phone, on PC, on tablet, and we make all these devices more smart. Smart PC, smart phone is already very smart, and tablet, all other device. And then lastly is we change our service solution, all the team together called a smart vertical, to vertical by vertical use our technology and service and system integration to support manufacturer, retailer. We have a lot of cooperation even with Amazon, with a lot of big company, how we make more smart on manufacturing on different where. My team is leading on the smart IoT stuff. We do three things. The number one things we call smart existing device. Make our current device more smart. Second one is a new form factor smart device. And third one is make B2B more productivity device more smart. That is the three things. In the past 2 years, we have a lot of cooperation with Google, with Tuya, on how to smartify our current device. Like we do introduce smart display, which is have a Google Assistant, and we have a lot of the smart home control. We have a deep cooperation with Tuya, which is make Lenovo can more focus on how we deliver our key value, and Tuya can support a lot of the backend infrastructure and technology. And in this way is we maybe one of few we call the total solution provider. We are not only provide the core device like a smart speaker, smart display, this product. We also offer smart lighting, smart plug, and smart camera, security camera as a total solution package. You can use a whole Lenovo device to equip your smart home. That is our, we call it smart current device. Also, we're doing vertical, especially recently we work with Microsoft and Zoom, those company, to building the device, especially for our customers' home office. Like now, we work from home, have a remote, and we use the our smart display embedded the Microsoft Team or Zoom. You can easily work from home and learn from home. That is the third one we call the smart vertical device. So that is how Lenovo to regroup ourselves to embrace the we call it intelligent transformation and help our partner, help our end user, easy life and easy business with the new technology.
That's great. I love your 1, 2, 3 approach. And maybe Chaby, back to you. You talk about the consumer of smart devices and things like that, but it's also not just in the US, but globally important that you understand what retailers expect of Mercury and how you interface with both the retailer and the consumer at the same time. Why don't you give us your sense of the role retailers are playing in the whole IoT or smart home progression, and how you have to kind of innovate in that context.
Sure. So what we've seen at really across the board at retail, we've seen an investment on the retailer's part to build out all these informative virtual displays with all kinds of screens, information, and just really anything to be able to explain the technology and ultimately also help the customer, decide, what they want to purchase. And we've seen that really across the board from Walmart, Home Depot, Best Buy, pretty much everybody across the board. And I think that that's very important because ultimately, the average, person walking into a Walmart or a Home Depot is used to seeing, let's just say, an LED bulb at a couple of bucks, and now all of a sudden they're seeing a smart bulb at 3, 4, 5 times the price, and they're like, they don't understand, why should I spend $15 on an LED smart bulb when I could just buy a regular LED bulb for $4.99. So I think it's important to educate the consumer, and I think that that's happening really on a consistent basis. From the online standpoint, it's a lot easier to educate the consumer online because you have a lot more, let's call it flexibility or capability to create content, videos, and everything that really helps them understand not just the product, but also the technology. But I think retail is getting there. I think that they realize that, once a customer is in their store, they have to, make sure that the customer walks out with a product, as opposed to, just going online and buying it elsewhere because there's just more information out there. Mm-hmm. So as a company, we look at that and we say, okay, what can we do for the retailer that would give them the confidence to work with us as a company? So any category that we've ever gone into, and then it's not just a smart category, but really any category over the last 17 years, whether it was digital cameras, home decor, power, whatever the case may be, we don't just do one segment of a category. So ultimately, we want to be, let's call it the one-stop shop. Let's take lighting as an example, because Nicholas is in the lighting industry, as well as some of the people on our other panel. We took the lighting industry and said, okay, while the competition has the basics, A19 and A21 and so on, we said, okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to take every kind of bulb that we can make smart, whether if it's a filament bulb, an A19, a GU10, a PAR 38, and just across the board. And we decided that, you know what, if somebody wants to buy lighting, we have the full assortment. And we took that approach and applied it to the power area of the smart home category, and in terms of the security, indoor, outdoor, battery, not battery. So this way, there's less people to sell to today, as we know. I mean, there's less retailers out there, especially in the US. So when we come to the table and we're working with, our retail partners, we want to be able to say, hey, if you're looking for something, we make it. If there's something that, and I think that that's very important because, when a customer shops a store today and they're able to see 6, 8, 10, 12, 20 SKUs of the same brand, then it gives them the confidence to make that purchase. But, if you rewind a few years ago and there was 2 of this brand and 3 of that brand and 4 of that brand, it was just total confusion. They had no idea what they should be purchasing. And I think now, as the technology has evolved and as companies that understand consumers like Mercury and like the rest of the people on our panel, we're making the job a lot easier for not only the retailers, but also when the customer does walk into the store, that, they have the confidence to buy, just based on, what's there.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Great. And Nicholas, back to you. A lot of people who are in the audience today are going through a technical evaluation or trying to pick what technology they want to follow and things like that. You've just said you've done it in the last 12 months. Give me a sense of how you develop your partnership strategy and kind of what you were looking for in terms of evaluating technology.
Yes, Jeff. When we were setting out on the journey, we knew that we wanted to have a range of Wi-Fi products available, and we did have the suppliers there to supply the products. It was just making sure that we got the right power provider, like Tuya, to fit in with us, so we can to give us confidence in selling that bulb. Because going back a couple of years, there was quite a lot of debate about how do you say, security of the products. So we wanted to be secure in knowing that if we sell a light bulb for Wi-Fi, we're not going to have any problems with it, and that's why we chose Tuya as our partner. And it took us about 12 months, with discussions with Tuya. And then we made the decision to go with Tuya. And then from January this year, we launched the range of lighting. And it's been a tremendous success.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, we're moving on to not just one brand, we're moving out to 2 or 3 brands, because we don't want the same brand to conflict with the same retailers. Mm-hmm. So, some people might want to sell an LED lamp at, say, $10 or £10, and some might want to sell it at $9 and a little bit cheaper. So we're trying to give the customer a differential in the packaging. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're not just selling one brand, we're selling 2 or 3 brands.
Mm-hmm. So you've got a rollout strategy in terms of how you're building the technology across all your products.
Yeah, we started with the lamps, and then we're moving into like the cameras and other things like that. But we want products to fit into our range. We don't just want to bring products in, mm-hmm. and it just sit there and not sell. So we want to be comfortable that we can sell the products, which we've got the sales force to do. Mm-hmm. And it's educating the sales force to sell to the customer, to sell to the consumer. So it goes all the way down the supply chain, really. Mm-hmm. But no, it's been a very interesting journey, very, very interesting. I'm not particularly IT savvy myself. I'll put my hands up to that one, but I'm learning. Guys. I mean, I know Chaby's talked very well about the Mercury products and things, but we're very new, so I'm learning my way through it.
Give me a call, Nick.
I'll give you a call, Chaby. Yeah? You might be able to teach me a few things.
A pleasure.
Sure. Let's go back to India. Give me the 2 or 3 products that you think are of most interest to your company right now. And if I can, maybe ask you a second question, and hopefully you can answer both. How do you think about kind of the ability to engineer in India for India, and having global partners like Tuya in China or other around the world? What's globalization going to look like, coming out of the dynamic we're in right now? I know that's a difficult question for everybody, but since you're a smart guy, you can help us understand all that. So if you would take those 2 questions for us.
Jeff, the short answer for your second question is we are in a very, very sweet spot after the pandemic. So we are really waiting for the world to come to India instead of us going, off the way. So that's a short answer for that. Well, coming to your first question about the product categories, and I really like the point that Chaby made about, just go digital or go smart in the entire category. Don't bother about this category or that, just take lighting or this category and make it entirely smart. That is something that will really work for us. We would really, want to choose that, image saying that, this is a technological advancement. Why don't we give that to the consumer, right? I mean, it's almost like a change from the LCD or incandescents to, CFL and LED. So it's a march of technology. Why don't we give that entire benefit to the consumer? That would be a really great philosophy for India to follow. But easier said than done. I realize the complexities, etc., make it really, and the cost aspirations. The market where it will take those products will also be a different price point. So coming to the category that I would like to talk about, where we really, used technology, used smart, and it's a very unexpected and a very different technology. It's in air conditioners. So air conditioners in India, just to give you a sense, is about a $3 billion kind of a market, and growing. We have a very low penetration compared to the other developed geographies. So what we thought was that why not introduce, because this is an aspirational, even it's a utility, but also an aspirational to a lot of Indian homes. So why not introduce smart there? So just to give you a little bit of a sense, we have our most modern aircon plant, manufacturing ACs in a place called Rajasthan, and I can take liberty with you of knowing provinces. So in a place in Rajasthan, it's a very, very most modern kind of a plant we manufacture there. So the smart category, when we conceived of this product about 3 years back, was hardly existing. So it was hardly 2 to 3%, and a very, very niche kind of a placement was there. So what we gave as a brief to our R&D and design engineers was that it has to be eco-friendly, because it had to run on an inverter technology, and the power conditions being on GE Power in India, etc. So the power conditions, etc. It had to be an inverter run kind of a technology. It has to be aesthetically superior looking, because Indian customer ain't going to buy a very technologically superior product if it doesn't look good. So with that product brief, the R&D engineers did a fantastic job. Then we went to our agency, our promotion agency, and we thought, let's go to the best. And we went to BBDO and RK Swamy, who's the Indian partner for them. And we said, and I don't know if you recall, when How to Become a Millionaire was launched in India, called KBC, Kaun Banega Crorepati. They chose, they said that we don't want just TRPs, we want to have the TRPs equivalent to a Sunday game between India and Pakistan of cricket. So that was the aim given to the agency. So we did just that. We said this category had to create an impact. So go to the best. So what they did was they said, the biggest showman in India, they went to Amitabh Bachchan, and he was the ambassador for us. And later we chose the current heartthrobs of Bollywood, Deepika and Ranveer, who are the things to make an impact. But we realized that this can get the audience to the, or the target audience to the stores, but who's going to explain them the features, etc. So we trained a bevy of almost 1,500 demonstrators to explain the benefits of the product, explain the benefits of remote, explain the benefits that it's high up there. So you will have to have, kind of smart means and ways to, kind of bring it in your everyday learning. On the placement side, and you again know the challenges of the placement of such products in India, we really, did not leave any large format stores, medium format stores, and even mom and pop electrical stores. We, and including our own stores. So Havells has about 500 exclusive stores. So we chose top 100 of them to, kind of get these products in. So almost about 1,500 stores was where we were able to, place these products. And what was the result? The result was that we, smashed through the park. We became the market leaders in that kind of a category. And not only it helped our sales, what it helped was that it developed smart as a category. We use the best in promotion trade to establish smart in the minds of the Indian consumer, that it's not something that, it's a luxury thing. Everyday man can use that, right? And no wonder a lot of competition followed our launch, and obviously ours was a differentiated product along with the partners, Tuya and others. And that's how we kind of created an impact. So I have a strong belief that this is something that possibly can create, and it could be an engine to change the mindset of the people that smart is for everyone. It's not for something who's more technologically savvy.
Yeah, no, that's great. Mr. Lee, let me ask you, from a Lenovo standpoint, just given, the fame of the company and the ability, how do you decide what you want to do yourself, the engineering you want to do internally? And then when do you decide when you use partners like Tuya, for your development? And how do you go through that kind of make versus buy decision, let's say, in a company like Lenovo?
Yeah, I think like when Lenovo entered the smart home business, we are doing a lot of stuff is in-house because we have a lot of the resource. But then we later on find like this is not really working, and the smart home is kind of the really broad industry. So I think like after 1 year, we have an in-house, we call it the smart home app and the cloud. 1 year, we found it's not very efficient. Then we have an engagement with Tuya, and then we leave this we call it smart essential or smart gadget. Those pieces, the technology to cooperate with Tuya, and then we can more, how to say, focus our resource to more create the core device. So in general, we feel like in a smart home area, you have like core device, like a more internet portal control device, like a smart speaker, like a smart harp or smart display. And you also have a lot of the gadget or essential device, lighting, like a thermostat, old stuff. So we focus on our IT technology engineer on those stuff. And then we landscape our key direction is, we believe, like Saurabh said, like how to make a smart home business easy to understand. It is easy to talk about smart home, everybody embrace, everybody like, but that one. So we believe it's very important step by step, make people easy understand. So we make our technology to very focus on how to smartify the current device. I will give 3 examples what we're doing. The number one we're doing is on the clock. So everybody know we have a very traditional, maybe 1,000 years clock, bing clock. And then recently with digitalized FM clock, radio clock, you have a clock ringing by the FM or other stuff, but still not really, that's digitalized. Then last year we launched the smart clock, and then we really make the clock could be very smartified. You can go through the clock, control your lighting, talking, checking, and you have intelligence set up your clock. And the clock even can give you some suggestion. Hey, Yao Li, the traffic is really bad. You need to better wake up 30 minutes early. Then the clock will ring 30 minutes early because the traffic, that's intelligence. So we see this kind of the traditional device, digitalization, and smartified by intelligence technology. So we move our focus on how to smartify the existing device, make people easy understand, yeah, clock is clock, but how to make it really smart. And second one, we make a phone. It's very interesting because recently COVID-19 coming, we found like a work from home important, and then we make our smart display work with Zoom and Microsoft to really embrace the work from home hard device. It is same journey is like we have a phone, analyzed phone, landline phone before. Then we have a mobile phone, but mobile phone is not very good for kind of really a conference for the business. So we embrace previous only can work on a PC or mobile phone like a Skype or Zoom or this one in the smart device. You can easily use the assistant technology, work from home. And the third one is this year, we launched the smartphone. It is the same technology. Story is everybody, we have started in all American home. Everybody have like a 15 to 20 photo frame, physical photo frame, small one, bigger one, on the wall, on the desk. And then everybody remember 10 years ago, we have a digital photo frame, which is digitalized. But that one is really stupid. You have to copy paste, you have to use SD card. It's really damn not good. So we put our engineer to intelligent and smartify the old digital photo frame, then we called smart and cloud-based frame, which every day you wake up, you can enjoy. 10 years ago, same day you have Hawaii trip, or your baby growing every day, or you have like anniversary. So that is how we landscape our technology. We work with Tuya to make all the smart essential cooperate with Tuya, and then we focus on our technology to reinvent or smartify existing technology from different room. Bedroom, we reinvent the clock. In the home office, we invent the landline phone. And in the living room, we reinvent the digital footprint to the smart footprint. That's how we move our resource and our focus. Thank you. Hey, Jeff.
Very smart. That's really really great. So, guys, we just have time for maybe one kind of quick discussion for the panelists. And look, we're having the conference right as we're moving through this terrible pandemic that the world is gripping. So maybe just go around and ask each one of our leaders this morning kind of what's on your mind as you think about driving your company forward during this this time of great uncertainty and crisis. So Chaby, maybe start with you. What's on your mind?
Just really the new norm. I mean, what is the new norm? Like, what is it going to look like? You know, how are we going to manage, you know, our team? You know, do you have to bring people in on certain days? Do we have to separate them a certain part? And there's just so much uncertainty just because of this epidemic that it just, you know, it puts kind of like, you know, a little bit of a strain on, you know, it's not enough already that we have to manage our business and also try to figure out how to come out of this pandemic and try to, you know, recoup what we lost. But now at the same time, we have this whole other initiative, which is vital, extremely important, because obviously the health and safety of our employees and just in general are tantamount to almost anything. You know, being in New York, I would say probably 75% of our employees take mass transit. They take trains, they take buses, they take ferries. You know, how do we manage that? Do we keep people at home for another month and bring in another team? So really, it's just, you know, there's that other extra layer of just, you know, trying to, and guidelines are changing by the day. You know, they tell you one day there is no gatherings, and all of a sudden the next day, okay, you can get together with 10 people. And then the next day they say, okay, you cannot open up the beaches. Boom, the next day the beaches are open. So it's just, it's a lot to take in. I do believe, and again, I'm an optimistic person. You know, I could say that I believe our country, and I speak on behalf of this, it will come out bigger and better and stronger. It's not going to happen overnight, but I do think that this was really a humbling lesson. You know, it does make you put a lot of things into perspective, from just family and just really just the things you take for granted on a daily basis that you can no longer do. You know, we actually had a Zoom happy hour with our, oh, there's your dog. We had a Zoom happy hour with our entire company where it was a requirement at like 5 o'clock, everybody had to log on and with a drink and just so we could see everybody. So it's really just, you know, we love our team. You know, we miss them. Every time we send an update, you know, we get the response, we can't wait to get back. We can't wait to get back. And I just, you know, I believe, again, I'm an optimistic person. I think we'll be okay. It's just really trying to figure and sort all of this out. And we have put a whole like task force and team together to kind of just, you know, handle all the different areas and departments. I just hope things will get back to normal, you know, sooner rather than later. Let's just say that.
Great comments. Nicholas, how about you?
Yeah, Jeff, it's been a testing 8 weeks since the 23rd of March when lockdown was introduced. It just, a lot of things came to a stop straight away. I mean, the supermarkets and the DIY stores kept trading, but the rest of the country in the UK just seemed to stop, and a lot of people had to change the ways people work. We're either work from the office, we're working from home. So as a business, we've had to go out and buy a lot of laptops. I'm not so sure if they were Lenovo ones, but we went to buy a lot of laptops. So we engaged our office people to work from home, kept the warehouse operational. It's been challenging, and like Chaby said, it's changing all the time. You know, I'm thinking, do we bring 50% of the people back to the office? Do we have some working from home? Do we try to bring them all back? You know, and then we've got the welfare of the staff as well. So it's been a challenging 8 weeks. It's been find it a bit difficult working from home because I'm always office based. So it's I'm writing that many emails. I think my fingers are sort of giving up on me. But it's been challenging, but we're getting through it. And like Chaby says, hopefully there's out there. There's going to be a lot of optimism when we come out of all this. You know, it's it'd be interesting to see where we're head. But I think it'll be a tough 6 months at least.
Yeah. Saurabh, how about you? Give me your perspectives.
Jeff, before that, can I ask Yuli, what do you call that clock? Do you call it mother or spouse? That reminds you? Okay, moving on to more serious matters. Jeff, you understand that when lockdown was announced, India, you know, for most of the companies closed down in March. So that's the Q4 for us. And a lot of companies were hoping for a big closing at that point in time because, you know, companies like us really look forward to a big closing, and a lot of sales was, you know, kind of off the shelf. What we really hope for when we come back is to, you know, kind of recoup that sales. It's not as if everybody is going to come and, you know, think of ACs and fans as the first thing. They would think of, you know, a lot more things before they come to that. And it's also not that our customers, like channel partners and all, are welcoming us with open arms. You know, they would still be at a distance and they would advise us not to come. So we have to learn to live in this kind of a challenging atmosphere, learn to sell, learn to get our top lines back into action in this kind of an atmosphere. So that will be my number one concern. We have learned a lot in this pandemic, believe you me, that will be number one. And if I can slip in just the other one, my other concern would be, can we think of a new way of living, the new way of operating? And as I said earlier, you know, will this be the turning point where I start thinking about how can I make my customers' life more easy, more contactless, more convenient? You know, can I bring that in my products and categories? And we, you know, in our company have started those discussions, saying that can we look at new ways of working? Even in costing, can we look at zero-based budgeting? You know, without assuming what a lot of things that we did. So those will be our, you know, at least I see top two concerns from our side.
That's great. Yeah, Lee, how about you?
Yeah, I think this global pandemic is really changed our life and our working. I almost like never ever in past 10 years, like constantly 4 months no travel, but it's good to enjoy family time, stay with my kids and my family. But what maybe a couple of points I can share. The number one, I think, put the global pandemic, we need to be patient, don't rush for like open. It will open soon, but don't rush. I think like we need to enjoy or make sure enjoy this new normal instead of like hate this kind of situation. So we do some like what we heard is like a Zoom happy hour. We do very similar stuff in our my team. But very important is I want to share is like we need really make a communication easy and efficient. Means very important is trust. Like my team located in Shanghai, Beijing, Tokyo, Sydney, and North Carolina, and Chicago, different locations. Before we always have a workshop, we travel, we meet each other. Now we need to be prepared, maybe half a year, maybe longer time. You have to trust and make your all the commitment and communication is trust and reliable. I think this is a kind of, when you have this kind of, your heart is ready, maybe something is getting more easy and to really grow. The second point I think is, I think online will be a very long-term behavior change from end user wise. So make sure we have a direct communication, direct marketing to our end user. It goes through e-tailer, goes through your e-commerce direct to end user. We do see our business is significant shift in the past couple weeks from offline to online, significant. I think this could be long term, not forever, but this change will be happen. The last things I think is the COVID-19 will change a lot of the industry, but it's also we can take a positive view, like how to embrace this new environment, work from home and learn from home. We will shift our technology to support more work from home and learn from home, like contactless kind of business. We even work with Microsoft to bring our technology to hospital. Now we already launched, we call the virtual rounding. So the doctor do not need to physically visit each patient. We use the smart display with the Microsoft team, and the doctor can really virtual rounding. So a lot of the content is like a remote healthcare, even the food delivery. If I have time, I can share how we support Uber Eat, how we support GrabHub to make the food delivery more simple and easy. So we do see this kind of remote communication and remote technology will be a new opportunity for a long term. That's my 3 takeaway and share. Thank you.
So look, I'd like to thank our panelists, Chaby and Nicholas and Yali and Saurabh. Thanks. This has been a great, great panel. I would just maybe wrap up with 3 comments to say, I think what I heard our panelists say today is everything's smart, move quickly, get the price points down, and make this less of a hobby and more of a mainstream technology. I think that's really a pervasive theme. The importance of the ecosystem being retailers, consumers, and suppliers, and how do you pick the right partners. And I think the presentation that Leo makes today on the Tuya platform is going to be a big part of that. And I think just the intersection, I think in this pandemic, the intersection of the physical and the digital world has taken place. And that's probably never going to separate anytime in the future. So we used to think of digital tools, but would we be e-commerce and still be retailing? And now those things are all kind of coming together. I think the good news for smart home is everybody sitting at home is finally figuring out how all these devices work. So you basically now are becoming good consumers of the technology, and that's a good thing. So I think the physical and digital worlds are always going to come together. And I would just leave everybody just with maybe the most important lesson of crisis management, which is the ability to hold 2 truths at the same time, right? One is it's going to be hard, and we have to get through it together, and bad things happen, and we have to take care of each other. That's one truth. But the other truth is that there's going to be big opportunities, that the world is going to change. And if you give up on the opportunities, then it's all going to be the bad stuff. And you have to find a way to hold 2 truths at the same time. And I think that's critical. So thanks to all of you. Thanks for a great panel. And Goel, I'll turn it back to you and the Tuya team.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks. Bye-bye.